Hello, everyone. Mackie here, and welcome each and every one of you to pretty much my favorite portion of Worlds. It is not going to be about the champions. It's not going to be about the meta and all kind of stuff. It is pick'ems. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, the pick'ems have arrived, and it's going to be way more detailed and way more chaotic this year because factions. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. You, the lucky people, are going to be part of a faction in which whatever you pick and win, they win. Now, you have until next week, which is the 14th of October, to be picking the factions and, of course, making the pick'ems, which I'm going to do this for this channel. Now, I'm going to do two pick'ems. The first one will be the LOL Esports pick'ems, and the second one will be the more detailed pick'ems on the DPM LOL Esports website. So this is going to be the more detailed version, of course. If I were to get to pick them, am I going to get to pick them? Oh, wait. Oh, actually, I think I already picked them. Oh, this is a 2024 portion. Okay, this is a 2024 portion. I was dumb, but hopefully I will do the other pick'ems in the 2025 version. But for now, we're gonna be sticking to the LOL Esports pick'ems. Now, which faction should I choose? Now, I could just go easily to the Rats, or I will dominate, or the Yankos. I will just pretty much go for the leader one. And I could just say, like, okay, you could just probably cheer for G2 and T1 and all kinds of stuff. I could just also skip, but my eyes are in the lovely, luscious, former LPL caster and Australian's own Miss Kitty. And she's cheering for G2. So you know what? Why not? I'm rooting for me. I am in the kitty. I am in the kitty box right now. I am going to be in that kitty box. So Kitty, shout out to you. If you know, you know. And now here we are. Look at this beautiful, beautiful stuff. This is, of course, the pick'ems, of course, that will be taking place. And if you notice that we have the Swiss and the knockout stage, there is 4 days, ladies and gentlemen, 4 days. So if I were May, I will copy this link and put it on the descriptions to go online right now, pick a faction and pick a team, pick your picks. And if you do well, you get all this beautiful luck skins. You got the Sona DJ Sona skin, the Elemental Lux skin, and 12 more. And if you're rated in the top 500, you got the Xin Zhao skin, the classic Xin Zhao twin, and the new one. And if you do decently well, you may get one of those emotes. And for community, you get the winning faction and a Nautilus holding the cup. And if you participate, you get a Neva skin and some capsules. I haven't played League of Legends in a while, but you know me, I like to collect a lot of stuff. So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for me to get my pick'ems on, ladies and gentlemen. I will do the crystal ball next. But I have to do the pick'ems right now. So, on to Swiss. And I believe I will use the Swiss and my 10 questions to answer all these questions, of course. So, let's just see. And let me just see if I have the questions in me. Okay, let me just open up. Let me just see. I have the questions in me. Okay, there it is. So this is your A pick'ems, but also B your Q&A section for this thing. So it's just a mixed partner, of course. I'll be doing the pick'ems, of course, and then I'll do the questions afterwards. So let's just dive right in, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, it is a beaut. It is a beaut. Now, your first three. Now, as you can say, the 8 advancing teams and your first 3 picks will earn bonus points if they advance to the corresponding win losses. Your 3-0s, your 3-1s, and your 3-2s. Now, I'm gonna go with the teams that does not make it out. I'm going with the teams that does not make it out. And I'm going first with VKS. I think by watching Psychedelic Poro's video on VKS, I think they have enough talent on this team, which makes me ranking VKS a kind of little low. I mean, kind of low. I picked them last in my rankings, of course. And it's not because I don't hate the team. Don't get me wrong; they have some decent players and some future players. Next on some decent squad. Martius is great. Trimby, we all know, is great. Seal is a great coach, and he has some pretty tough words to say about LCS in that Sheepy interview. I will save down on my on my Flock of News Friday, of course, tomorrow. But my God, it's a really talented team that unfortunately I just don't see them progressing through. So I have them pretty much out in my pick'ems, of course. And then my next team to get bounced out, I will pick. I can't pick these because, of course, there must be in the play-ins, of course. I'll go with Team Secret Wales as my another 0-3 team. I think they are just I again another really talented roster with some pretty much unknowns, and I just don't see this team doing much progress. So, Team Secret Wales, easily another one. I will go with another team. I think can be Fnatic, can be Top Esports. I'll go with 100 Thieves. I'm sorry, David. 07 to David Shynock. I just cannot see this 100 Thieves team doing pretty well. I mean, he said it, of course, in his Rendezvous episode of the 100 Thieves, that I just don't think 100 Thieves are going to do well like they did in 18, like they did in 21, and like they did in 2022. I just don't see this 100 Thieves doing well. And consider this is their last year of league before Sentinels can probably take over. I just wonder what the minds will be for these players, knowing that this may be their last time to wear their shirt, and probably the last time in their careers in terms of River. I think the 100 Thieves story is great, but I just don't see them going through as much. All right, the next team that I'm going to pick, let's see. All right, it's going to be a tough one. Am I going to pick KT Rolster? I think I should. I don't know. Maybe I'll pick KT Rolster for this. Maybe. I think PSG are going to be out. I think PSG are going to be out. Yes. The fact that PSG actually make it to Worlds is incredible, of course. Maple and Betty making through, all that kind of jazz. That's amazing. But I just do not see this PSG team going even further, of course. And pretty much going to be bottom out of the Worlds, of course. It's going to be absolutely brutal for them. Right? Absolutely brutal for this team. And I will not be kind of shocked if, PSG will get a win or 2 wins, of course. We know what they're capable of, especially the last Worlds, of course. But I guess this competition is going to be brutal. And I believe... Wait. Oh! I am a dumbass. I'm supposed to pick the teams that are advancing. Oh! I shouldn't read. Okay, but I already give my opinions. Okay, so let me just see which teams are going to go through. For my 3-0 team, I think it'll be easily Gen G. I think easily Gen G, best team in the world, no doubt about it, of course. My 3-1 team, and because of how really volatile Swiss is, I think I'll pick T1. I think I'll pick T1 to make it 3-1. I think T1 are... Yes, the defending champions. They're gonna be IG. I'm sorry, IG, but I think they're gonna win. They're gonna win. My camera freezes. Screw me. Anyways, no webcam. We're gonna just go plain sailing here. I believe that T1 is going to win the playing matchup, and I think T1 are going to struggle, of course, against one of the teams. Maybe might get Gen G, and maybe in a best of 1, I think Gen G had that cover. So I think T1 will go through as a 3-1 team. The 3-2 team, I have to go G2. I'm confident about G2. I think G2 have the confidence. I think G2 have not so great mid solar laners, of course. Your BBs and your Caps not playing well. Han Summer is all right. Labrov is having all the confidence. Skumon is doing pretty decent. So you can say that G2 are going to be struggling a little bit, of course, consider the circumstances, but I believe they can make it through. And now I have to pick the teams that actually going to. Give me FlyQuest. I think I'll give me FlyQuest. I think FlyQuest is going to go through. I think FlyQuest with Inspire and Busio and Masu and Quad are going to make it through. I think they're too strong powered. I think they will comfortably go through. Not maybe a 3-0 or 3-1 in their opinion, depending on the draw and how they play it out. I got Hololive Esports. Making through again. I got Hololive Esports. And no, this is not my official pick, of course. This is how I see it. I think Hololive Esports are pretty much destined to be a good team. Maybe I'll put them in a 3-1 category and have T1 sweating out a bit. Maybe I'll put them in a 3-1 category. I think it depends on how the draw goes and all kind of stuff. And how will Holland Live Esports stack up against the rest of the team? Because if Holland Live Esports were to get drawn by, let's say, a G2 or something, that will be tough. And then I have to go BLG. I don't care how struggling BLG have been. Oh, so I have to put. Oh, so that's the 3-0, 3-1. Oh, okay. So I've realized that these are the 3-0 teams, 3-1 teams, 3-2. Okay, got it. Sorry about that. But I think I put BLG and G2 in the 3-2 category because I think because of juggling situations and the way this team have been struggling all year, Knight has to be the one to be carrying right now. And I think BLG are going to have it really, really tough, and I think it'll go through. Am I going to put FlyQuest over G2, my 3-2 team? I think FlyQuest will be fine. As for my other 3-1 team, I don't think I'll pick Fnatic. I think I'll give Anyone's Legend a try. I think they have run up back to form in the playoffs, of course, with the whole team. And I think you can say that now they are really motivated and getting ready to go to play decently well. They don't have to move. They're in China. They're going to boot camp and all kind of stuff. And also, I believe that they have now gotten their swagger back from what happened to MSI. I think this team will be confident, and I think they'll make it 3-1. I don't think they'll be in the Gen G High Life Esports conversation. And that means I have to put one more team in the conversation. I can't trust Top Esports. I just cannot trust Top Esports for the life of me. Let me just see, who do I pick? KT, no thanks. No, thank you, KT. Gotta be a 3-0 team. It's pretty brutal. It's tough. Can't be MCoy. No way. Cannot be MCoy. I think I'll put BLG in the 3-0 stage, and I think it'll be easier. Maybe I'll put AL in the 3-0 stage. Maybe I'll put AL in the 3-0 stage, and then BLG 3-1, and then someone will be the 3-2. I think so. So I'll put AL. I'll put AL, BLG, and I think I'll have to pick one more team to be in the 3-2 spot. I think I'll go with CFO. I mean, why not? I'll give CFO a call. Best team in all LCP, can challenge so many teams, do well in First Den, decently well in MSI. I believe that they're going to go through. So I have Gen G, Hana Life, and Anyone's Legend as my 3-0 team. T1 FlyQuest BLG. Yes, I know I put FlyQuest in, but these are my picks. Roast me if you want to. And put him 3-1. And I got G2 struggling against CFO. I think... Oh, maybe I could just flip around and put G2 in there and then maybe FlyQuest in there. Maybe I'll put G2 in there. I think G2 has been... I think everybody was talking about how FlyQuest is the best team in the West. But I decided to put some trust in G2. I think that performance in summer just garnered me hope that G2 could be a good 3-1 team. I'm not saying it could be like a T1 or anything, of course, but I think it'll be good enough to beat a BLG or maybe a CFO, and maybe if they could get the FlyQuest matchup again, like we see in MSI, it'll be a lot different. It'll be a way lot different than the MSI one. So based on all of that, I think I put G1, G2, and 3-1. So once again, Gen G, Hana Life, Anyone's Legend at 3-0, and then T1, G2, BLG 3-1, and then FlyQuest, CFO will be my 3-2 teams. And that is my Swiss picks. Now, if you want, you can go to the LOL Esports Pick'ems website right here. It's a crappy website, but it's that time of the year. You can pick your faction if you want, or you just don't. Be a lone wolf. I don't care. And then, Cage will get his members, as usual. Then you pick your teams, and you see where you go for the rest of the tournament. You got 4 days by the time I'm recording this. It'll be 4 days before the whole World's tournament. And of course, the pickings for the knockout stage will be open in a couple of weeks. I think I'll play the crystal ball to see what it finds out. Let me just see if I can pick the crystal ball. So they have a crystal ball in which they have like questions of who is going to be how many pentakills, or who is going to be the best performer, or what, and all kinds of stuff. And maybe that might factor in all my questions for this week for the Worlds. I mean, some of them will be factoring in my questions in my 10 questions, of course. So it's going to be... And by the way, this is a busy day for me because I've already uploaded 2 videos, of course, about the best moments and matches on World's history. By the way, one is like 59 minutes long, but because it ran so long, I wanted to like squeeze both of those videos in an hour, but I can't. So I put one video for the 59 minutes and the other one for like the 11 minutes to finish it off. So like an hour and 10 minutes on both videos, and that was it. And this is now my third upload of the day, along with the shorts that I've done, of course, the two shorts that I've done. So this is probably the busiest day I ever have, ever. And unfortunately, we don't have the crystal balls. Marvelous. This Lottie Sports website is still crap. Anyways, I think that should do it. And now it is time for me for the main event of the evening. And no, we're not talking about Seal crapping on LCS or given or slot situation. We'll save all of that for the Friday show. Because of course weekend will be like my day offs and all kind of stuff. It's time for the questions, ladies and gentlemen. These are the 10 questions that I wrote talking about worlds. And my very first question is a really important one. Is that can NA finally beat an Eastern team? And I would say the words yes, 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 yes. Okay, I'm stop being Daniel Bryan. Sorry. Anyways, I believe this is gonna happen. I think FlyQuest are gonna be the team that can do it. And I don't care if it's KT. I don't care if it's a struggling BLG team the second time around. I think that FlyQuest are going to be the first North American team in a long while to beat an Eastern team. And if that were to happen, consider the absolute vitriol by Whipple, of course, by himself, but the absolute vitriol of the LTA, the North American fans, the whole thing, and you got the LCS back, which is like the good thing, and Sentinels being a decent organization coming in, and that's good. So you got all the momentum going right for the LCS right now, and including you get your world spots, your 3 precious world spots back. So at least you got that going. Now, the question is, what will be the moment that makes NA fans come back in drones again? Because I don't think viewership will get back to like the 200,000. No way. It has already gone downhill and never going to come back. But what will be the moment that makes people want to feel like they believe again? And I think FlyQuest, make it to the semifinals and being an Eastern team, should do it. Or maybe, get a lucky draw, make semifinals. That would be working. But FlyQuest have to make me believe. I don't think 100 Thieves are going to make me believe. I don't think as good as VVK done, I don't think they'll believe. It has to be 100. It has to be FlyQuest. And if FlyQuest does not make it to Swiss or make it out of Swiss and doesn't beat an Eastern team en route to it, then I think we're all going to be disappointed. And I think we lost all hope in humanity for this region. If you think Seal's words are going to hurt in North America right now, trust me, you have heard a lot worse. So I think FlyQuest can do it, and I think it will happen. Now, which LPLT will be eliminated in the Swiss stage? I think that's an easy answer. I think it's BLG. I believe it's BLG. And I think you can say that the jungler situation was the problem and all this kind of stuff, but they have not looked like the best team. I can say AL. I can say AL could be one of the teams that could be eliminated. But I think AL has rounded up back to form. Yes, they were eliminated, but I think you can say that AL are running back to form, and with the long layoff, it might benefit for them because they've been playing so much competitive games. From Split 2 victory to MSI to EWC, they have not gotten the day off that much. So with the day off, with the preparation by Tabe, of course, and of course the new meta that we shifted, of course, yeah, I think AL is going to be fine. I think BLG are going to be absolutely cooked. Now, Akeem, I picked BLG to make it out of Swiss. I know, but I just loved being proven wrong, okay? I just love when I be proven wrong sometimes. And that is going to be the most important thing. Can I be proven wrong? Now, question number 3 is how will this year's meta shape up the entire tournament? Well, ladies and gentlemen, may I present to you patch 2520, courtesy of Riot. Now, of course, you notice that we have 25.19. We'll go back to that later. You got your Briar nerfs, your Orianna nerfs, your Volibear nerfs, and your Warwick nerfs. And you get Nivea, Katarina, Malphite, Pantheon getting buff, and of course, Veigar. I don't know which patch they'll be playing in Worlds, but I just do not think it will happen. I think this will be the patch for Worlds. I think it'll be either 2519 or 2520. I just comment below which patch is going to be played at Worlds, because if that happens, the one pretty much big point, of course, this is the official patch. Yes. Okay, this is the Worlds patch, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yeah. And if you load the date, by the way, this is traditional Riot, ladies and gentlemen. This is absolutely traditional Riot. This is think this took place a couple of days ago. Yep, October. No, not October 8th. No, I think that was yesterday with the whole cosmetics with the fiddlesticks. Oh my god, fiddlesticks, absolutely scary with that thing. Wow. Anyways, but the point is we are on Worlds Patch, ladies and gentlemen. This is the official Worlds Patch 2520, and by God, it is a chaos, of course. It is absolutely chaos. Now, now, of course. Now we're not gonna get to all the stuff like hide your ID and your game name and you hide your everything, of course, and hide your players, of course, to make sure that you don't get like banned, of course, and you decided that hey, I got flamed off in my account. I go to another account and trying to roast them. And you cannot do that. You just cannot do that anymore. You just cannot do that. Cannot do that. They set a precedence in saying if you smurf on one account, you just cannot do that on your ghost account or something. So they make a precedence here. But we're not going to talk about the games. We're talking about the champions, of course. Anivia gets nerfed, gets pretty much nerfed on her cooldown. It said her low mobility is one of her weakest, so we're lowering her Q's cooldown slightly as a way to keep enemies at bay and giving her a bit of damage to help her in the E. Not an important champion in the meta. Azir is going to be in the meta sphere, of course. It said that they're looking forward to shift his power and reduce those pro-specific traits. To do this, we're digging into his early laning phase and give him less passive guaranteed, wave control, and compensating him with better late-game scaling and more rewards for big risk. You got WRI's AP ratio being down, of course, a little bit. Recharge rate getting slightly increased. Damage to additional targets 20% until level 8, and then plus 8% per level at 100% at level 18. And the shift in sands get absolutely increased to from 60, 100, 140, 180 to 20 to plus 40, and then to 70, 110, 150, 190, 230, and plus 60 AP. So that means Azir is going to be one of those scaling champions. That's going to be like not so great early, but will be incredible if you scale well. And you already have your death cap, your did he do Magi stacks? I don't think he does Magi stacks, but he will be incredibly strong with those AP items, of course, and he's going to be one of those scaling champions. So if you're Faker, I think you're going to be great if you have this hands of a champion, and for other players, well, not named Faker, of course. Briar, I don't think this matters that much. I don't think we'll see her in much play, of course. Seven maximum stacks, passive Chrism top crows. I don't see him play. Camille could be in that mix. She could be in that mix. It said in her current state, Camille's laning phase is a very hit or miss. She either can be comfortable being her opponent with passive, or she can't really engage in lane and loses. While she appears powerful in the hands of most players, we don't think this shape is healthy for her hold. So we're giving her some additional power that will give her more strength to play around early, while balancing that will reduce base stats. We shouldn't feel noticed. So Camille is kind of like one of those fringe top players. I think we say that Camille is going to get played once, twice during this entire tournament because it's fearless, mind you, and I think she might get played like 3 to 4 times. Once or twice if that matters. 3 and 4 if that uptick is going to be like huge. And it says her armor growth is decreased by 4.5. Her tactical sweep, her W, cooldown being reduced in 15, 14, 13, 12 in like your level 3, 6, 9, and 12, of course. And then your base damage. 50, 75, 100, 125, 150 to 60, 85, 110, 135, 160. So she is going to be a menace in the early game. And I hope that some of the players might pick her and be greatly dominant. Because right now we have Cassante dominating mid, top, and Ornn, and, Gragas in some cases. Some heavy tank top champions being there. And we don't see like a lot of counter against these kind of champions. And hopefully Camille could be one of them. So I'll put Camille into the maybe category. Not good enough to be in the Worlds patch, but pretty much like in there. Fizz, we don't gonna say I don't think Fizz is gonna be in there. It could happen. His passive damage is up, and then tower damage is going to be the tower damage does not affect structures. And we did the math, it displays total damage. Active burst is getting a little increased, of course. On-hit damage increased a little bit. And then there's R, which is Chum the Waters, which is like shoop, that kind of thing, like sound effect. Everything increased. everything is a little increased. Even the AP, unfortunately, the AP is getting absolutely knocked down a peg. I don't know if Fizz is going to get game time. I just don't see Fizz getting much game time, of course. I don't see many pros play Fizz, to be honest. So I think we'll be like not seeing any more game time. Graves, no. Ooh, well, Graves, I don't know, man. I just don't know about Graves. Initial damage is up, of course, and his Bose's AD is down a little bit, and so does the secondary damage, and the combined damage is also down from 220 bonus AD to 180 bonus AD. Although most of the numbers are slightly up in most sense, of course, during his levels. I think Graves could get playable, but I just don't know which champion are good enough to buy in. Maybe G2 with Skumon, I guess. Canyon Graves. Maybe a Yoya could do that. It's pretty tough. I just gonna put that as a maybe for Graves, of course. Katarina, her armor base stats is only 32. I don't see her getting much playtime. Maybe Malphite a little bit because, of course, Bruiser, tanky champions on top, pretty much like the order of the day. So I'll put him as a maybe. His base armor is getting up, and his ground slam, of course, is E. 80, 120, 160, 200, 240 from 70, 110, 150, 190, 230, which means he could be really good in early game, but then after that, he's going to be off the charts and downfalling. Okay, now we literally get the two biggest champions. Maybe you can say 3 or 4 if you count it. First is Orianna. At higher skill levels, Orianna early wave clear is far too safe, and her optimized builds make her too tanky for her to be exposed to any real risk. So we're looking to reintroduce some risk to her overall kit. We want to incentivize Orianna to build more damage and less tank. So we're weakening her early wave clear power spikes, so she has to pick up more AP to clear waves. Something most players are already doing and thus shouldn't be impacted by much. So her W command dissonance is being nerfed from 70, 110, 150 to 190, 230, but 10% more AP. And I gotta say this right now for some Orianna players, including Faker again. This is huge. This is huge. And wave clear is gonna be huge for her. You're probably gonna see more wave clear, which means early game onwards, Orianna is going to like counter some matchups. You can think of Akali, of course, and maybe Akali. I think that's pretty much it. I don't only think Akali, maybe a Zir in most cases. And I think Orianna is going to be like the main pick for the Worlds, of course. And I say she's going to be like in the 35% win rate on this champion throughout this entire Worlds, although it might be picked once or twice because of Fearless. But I think she'll have a pretty high win rate going on. I think she'll be like one of the top 3 highest win rate mid laners in all of Worlds. I will see if I can be proven wrong. And for Pantheon, oh man, Pantheon get cut down on the knees on that nerf on 25-19. So our nerfs last patch, the Pantheon hit him a bit too hard. So we're walking them back a little bit. We still want there to be a strong, clear speed trade-off for a jungler with such reliable ganks, but it doesn't have to be quite bad. His common spear, his Q is getting buffed by 0.8 on monster damage modifier, and his W shield vault minion / damage monster damage cap at 150. And I think Pantheon is going to be large in these periods. It's going to be one of the top picks in all of Worlds, and probably the highest ever win rate by all junglers. I mean, Skewmon was the one that started the trend, of course, and then so many junglers follow it and the path. And Pantheon is really good. You know, your clear speed, your ganking movement, all the kind of stuff. His R is going to is a global ultimate, which means it can go to anywhere on the map. I play a pure Pantheon on Wild Rift, but it's kind of relatable to League, of course, to say that I think Pantheon is going to be a strong jungler throughout Worlds. So that's going to be the business, and I think Pantheon will be fine. Veigar, I don't see him getting much days. Volibear, now we already seen Volibear played. I saw G2 play Volibear at finals at LEC, and I think Skewmon did okay for it. His AP ratio got it down, and his AP ratio for Sky Splinter going down. So his passive Relentless Storm is going down by 5%, and his E Sky Splinter is down to 70%. And it said it, but It's okay to have sustain, but it's to bring his DPS down just a tad, we're hitting his AP ratios, which should weaken some of his most popular builds while leaving his AD builds untouched. So that means you're saying that Volley is going to go destroyer of all worlds kind of thing with 80 damage, which is saying that if you're Skumon or G2, you might pick him, of course, because it's G2. But you have to say that maybe there are some other teams that might pick him. Maybe a inspired. I don't know. But I think this is a maybe pick. This is a maybe pick. Warwick, I don't see him getting played, although his attack damage growth and attack speed growth is getting nerfed a little bit. I just don't see Warwick getting much playtime. Unless you're Broken Blade by you. I think Broken Blade might play Warwick, of course. Wukong. We saw a lot of Wukong in Worlds. We saw a lot of Wukong in these domestic seasons. So Wukong has been performing quite well at their highest levels of play, despite not being particularly strong on lower skill levels. We're looking to bring his ceiling down and floor up a bit by moving some power away from his pro skewed abilities and distributing it throughout the rest of his kit. So the bonus damage, of course, on the AD ratio is down by 50% AD. W War Trickster is getting absolutely cooldown, cooldown up, and it's kind of like a nerf, of course. 22, 21, 20, 19, 18 from 20, 19, 18, 17, 16. His clone damage, that little thing on the clone, of course, with the whole thing, it's down from 35, 40, 45, 50, 55% to 30, 35, 40, 45, 50%. The major buff, of course, is a Nimbus Strike, which is 80, 110, 140, 170, 200 to 80, 120, 160, 200, 240. Now, I believe that Wukong and Pantheon is going to be the leading 1 and 2 candidates for who's best jungler at the Worlds. I can see you can make an argument that Pantheon could be number 1, but Wukong could be like 1 or 2, or maybe 3. It depends on Vi, of course, in that mix. Sejuani for more tanky, passive kind of world. She could be in it, but it's going to be like Wukong, Pantheon, Vi, going to be in the mix for the best jungler performers at World. So as you look at the meta, I believe it's going to be much engaged fighter style jungling that's going on. You're not going to see much change within the top lane in terms of bruisers. ADCs are not going to change. It's going to be like the same old Zeri scaling, or maybe Smolder in some cases, or Israel in most cases. Jinx if you're feeling a little lucky, of course, in the scaling department, of course. So not and Kai'Sa, but mostly gonna be playing Kai'Sa, most Kai'Sa. So I don't think the meta is gonna be that detrimental. Now, if it ain't that detrimental, let me read you this. Lane swap detection. It's important that players have a fair fight in the early laning phases, both in pro play and everywhere else. Thankfully, our more recent lane swap mitigation tactics have removed 2v1 lanes at the start of the game from pro play while generally not intruding on everyone else. In the interest of cultivating exciting and non-deterministic lane phases this world, we're extending lane swap detection for another minute in top lane. As this mechanic only affects support champions further into the far side of the map, this won't affect your level 1 ASOL roams, unless you're playing ASOL support. So now top lane detection is now gone from 3 minutes to 4 minutes. It means that lane swaps are not all the way back, but it's making a big difference. It's going to make a huge difference. And if you're thinking my pick'ems, look at my pick'ems, by the way. Just look at my, and if you look at my pick'ems, by the way, maybe you could say that 1 or 2 teams from these pick'ems could be beneficial from lane swap. Maybe FlyQuest might be beneficial, or G2, or maybe AL will be benefit from the pick'ems, of course, from the lane swaps, of course. And to add this for like 4 minutes of lane swaps, it will be huge. Like, you might be seeing like your bot lanes going against the top lanes, of course, and XP and getting farms, of course, and getting fed, and that might snowball the game into your favor, of course. So with this small change, and by the way, it's traditional Riot Games, of course, doing this small change late before Worlds, of course. Not forget 2017 and the Juggernaut patch, by the way. But with this small change, it's going to have a ripple effect to see who will be flexible enough to win Worlds. And I think right now we're at the point of this Worlds where flexibility and ingenuity, yep, I kind of mispronounced the word, but it's important. These things are important for who will be decent enough and who will be flexible enough to win worlds. Of course, so lane swaps are kind of back, but it'll be hugely important. Doombots are not that important. Let's see, Arena, not that important. And emote upgrades, not that important. And then icon updates, those rarity updates. So none of them matters. And of course, those beautiful, beautiful skits. Maybe I'll put this as my wallpaper. Maybe I'll save this as my wallpaper. Or maybe because of Worlds, I'm probably gonna save this as my wallpaper. I'll figure it out next. So as for the meta shaping up this entire tournament, I think we're gonna have some more jungle fighting styles, of course. The mid lanes are gonna be the same. Orianna's gonna be clearing the ways, of course. Shadami should be pretty much a big factor, of course. Bot lane is pretty much the same. Top lane is still the same with your Bruiser, Cassantes, and your Orns, and your big Bruiser, beefy, tanky boys, with a little bit of carries here between there. So, but the lane swaps by additional minute is going to be huge because the next 4 minutes with, you know, early kills and feats of strength is going to be massive. Absolutely massive. And if you pick like a Caitlyn Lux or Caitlyn Karma, and you move up to the top lane, although it's not going to happen, but if you move like your bot lane to your top lane right now, it's going to be, it's huge. It's going to be huge. The lane swaps are going to be huge. The champions are not going to be that much huge, but the lane swap will be absolutely huge. Now, question number 4, which team will become the surprise package for Worlds? My answer is easy, CFO. I think CFO will be my surprise package. We saw what it did in First Stand. We saw what it did in MSI. I think that was shocking the world. Now, I have them as my APAC team to make it to the quarterfinals of Worlds. And if that happens, that means it'll be the first APAC team since Taipei Assassins. Or actually, no. Let me just go recent. Flash Wolves. Yes, that Flash Wolf team with Maple in it to make it to quarterfinals. That was like way 2016, 2017 time. And the way the CFO team, and with Hong Q, who by the way was the MVP of the LCP, and with some incredible players, and consider that they already have the shock factor, I think APAC should be taken very, very seriously. And I have them as my 3-2 team to make it through. But if they were to get lucky in their draws, and if they were to beat some lower teams, maybe a KT or all kind of stuff, I could see them being a 3-1, 3-0 team. It would not be the biggest realm of possibility that happens. Maybe I may change my picks, but I'll just keep that one for now. Question number 5: how many silver squares will we play during Worlds? Now, remember, because of the single elimination, and unfortunately, that is the way Riot Games crumble, of course, with Worlds, never doing a double elimination, even if they tried. I believe there will be at least 3 Game 5s in Worlds. I don't think we'll get the Game 5 craze fest that we have in MSI, but I think I want Game 5s. I just want like 3 to 4 Game 5s. I want some excitement. I want some decent, good Worlds, of course. I want to see some good matches because let's be brutally honest. I think the last couple of Worlds, except for finals, have been pretty much, not say dull, but pretty much like not exciting to me. Now, 2022 was great with the 2 best of 5s, of course, Gen.G, Damwon, and Kia, and then your EDG, in EDG DRX. And then 2023, and then 2024, we got BLG Gen.G, which is a fine series and all kinds of stuff. Gen.G versus FlyQuest was like, no one was expecting that series to go distance. No one, not even me. And that was incredibly fun. So we have some good one. And I think we're going to have another silver squares. I think we're going to have 3 silver squares during this one, including the finals, because why not? Number 6, does Adacon have a helping hand in determining Worlds? Now, I will answer that question in a couple of minutes' time while you just look at I can just pause and just admire my plans, I guess. All right, we're back, and as we look at my beautiful pickings, we decided to go through the rest of our questions. We're at the halfway point. Does Adacon have a helping hand in determining Worlds? Yes. Yes, it does. Always. Because it's not that Adacon has some pretty significant, you know, say in most of the matches. I mean, many people are throwing games at Atacon by the deteriorating rate. But it's how people are trying to attack Atacon that is pretty much weird. Now, Sakadera Poro had a pretty good video talking about how to do well in Atacon, how to leech it, and all kinds of stuff. I think it's a really good video. So if you're not a pro player and all kinds of stuff, I recommend you watching this whole thing. But it's gonna have a helping hand. It's going to have so many matches being determined, especially in best of ones and best of three matches. Like if you do not play Atacon properly, by the way, then I think it'll be bad. I think it will be horrifically bad for them. Next up is the Dade of Worlds. Now, for anybody who don't know Dade, I think I mispronounced his name. He is the most hype player going into Worlds and then absolutely crap the bed. So who is the most hype player going into Worlds that is going to absolutely get crapped on? Well, okay. I think I'll go with Canyon for this. Maybe Ruler for one of the teams. I think it's probably one of the Gen G performers so far. Because I think the expectations for Gen G are going to like win Worlds or bust. I've already said that in my predictions, of course. I already said that in my rankings. That is Gen G to win Worlds or bust. So I think Ruler is going to be the first one in my Dade Award for being like hype, but it's going to be like he has to live up to the hype, mostly because he got back his 2023 JDG kind of form, of course, and he was not great in his last year at JDG. So everybody's now expecting him to win. I think I think that's my first Dade. I think my second Dade, if we can go like multiple, but I think my second Dade has to be Canyon. I think Canyon could be my second Dade. My third one, who is the most hype player that everybody's expecting him to win? Maybe Chovy. I got 3 of the Gen G players going to be on the Dade Award list. I have Chovy, I got Canyon, and I got Ruler. And I hope that all 3 perform great. And if none of them perform great, I think Gen G are screwed. Now, will we get a Western Finals at Worlds? Sadly, no. I know I put up the question and I don't want to be optimal, but I just don't see that happening. I just don't see that happening. It will take the luckiest of draws to even go through. And even then, they have to be like an Eastern team to make it through. And consider how really hard it is right now with LCK and LPL getting 4 seeds. And of course, one of them has to be knocked out. It is going to be really, really hard to even get to a Western Finals. We nearly have it in 2018, guys. We nearly have it in 2018, but I don't think it's going to happen, guys. So they're the dream, I guess. Number 9, what does a Worlds win mean for Chovy and Gen G? Everything. Freaking everything. Like, I'm not saying you're going to be like Faker and being like winning all those, be like the GOAT, of course, but for Chovy, after so many years of being hailed as one of the best mid laners ever, and not named Faker, and being a choker, a bottler in most of the cases, for this Gen G team to win Worlds, and for Chovy himself, I'm not saying he's going to cement his legacy. Far be it. He'd have to win like another one to even more cemented. But for Chovy, it will be like the monkey off his back, the Steve Young monkey off his back kind of reaction, of course, to feel like you have been labeled as a choker, a person who cannot win the big one, who doesn't do well. Now you have 2 MSI titles, an LCK title on your belt. This is your moment. And I've already mentioned you as being a Dade, of course, of Worlds. So you better play. It doesn't have to be like your A+ game all the time, but you better performed well in order for Gen G to win Worlds. And if he goes on to perform well and win Worlds, the legacy of Gen G will be huge. The legacy of Gen G for Arthur, the CEO, will be huge for him. For Chovy, for Doro, for Canyon, for Ruler, redeeming himself after all these years. For Keen, the guy who has been ridiculed since like 2018, have not done well. I mean, for Gen G, it's going to be vindication for so many of the players. So many of these players that has been not so good or being decent, but never got a fair shake, except Doro, who's become a rookie. It will be huge. It will be huge for them. Now, can they make it? Of course they have to do it. They have to seal the deal here. And crazy things happen in Worlds, but I think they might do it. And number 10, can I get to 50 subscribers before Worlds? Now, unfortunately, I dropped a few subscribers. I'm not at 42 subscribers, but still 40 plus subscribers, of course. So thank you all for actually watching this whole thing. Can I get to 50 subscribers before Worlds ends? I have to do a lot of uploads, do a lot of spit in order for me to like get to where I am. And I'm uploading a lot. I'm uploading a couple of decent videos. I haven't uploaded much, but consistency is key. That's just something I haven't done much of the while. Is being like being there, being consistent every single time that I'm doing something. So I have to wake up, do a video, do something like almost every single time. It's hard. It is really hard, but you have to put in the hours in order for the number to grow. Because if you don't put in the hours, the number to grow, man, you're gonna be left behind, especially in a space known as esports. So you got to be consistent. And I've been consistent a little bit. Not much, but I've been a little bit consistent. So consistency will be key throughout this world, of course, which I'm doing right now with these whole questions and this entire Worlds week. And if you notice, the content does not stop there. Tomorrow, or let me just put this anyway, on Saturday, hopefully when I'm not there, or maybe around the weekend, Saturday or Sunday, we'll be doing the regional narratives. Now, the sec Friday will be the flock of news, retailing everything that's going on with LCK, the Seal interview about the LCS and all kind of stuff. And there'll be some interviews, of course, that I'm not gonna touch that much because it'll be a waste of time for me. And this video has already run that long to the absolute brains of so many people. So I'm not gonna do that. But there'll be some interesting, juicy bits that's going on in the flock of news Saturday. So I decided to push my Friday content into Saturday. So that means, yeah, we're gonna have content throughout the weekend. That's right, kids. There'll be no day offs for me, guys. You're gonna get content, content, content. Which, by the way, is the name of the game in YouTube and in social media business. Content or die. No other else. And I've done more content than pretty much all LCS teams combined. So I did all my work, baby. I did all my work. And thank you, everybody, for coming in and listening to these pick'ems that I've already done. And of course, my questions that I've already done. If you like the video, if you like the whole thing, like, comment, subscribe to this whole thing. I'm sorry my webcam did not go well, but if I were to do that, I would have to do like a no webcam episode of the rest of the shows, which it sucks, but it is what it is. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Enjoy this entire weekend of Worlds. And actually, no, let me just rephrase that. Enjoy your weekend. And Worlds is coming up shorter than you think. And I'll see you next time. Subscribe to me and the other persons who are doing Worlds and all the other League of Legends content. Ciao, everybody.